So there are 11 days left till Halloween, and I've been promising my little girls for the past month that today, as I was off, we would decorate outside for Halloween. So, of course, in typical British fashion, the skies have opened and it's monsooning. I'm pretty sure you can actually hear the rain on the conservatory roof. So to appease the little ladies, told them that they can decorate the conservatory and their bedrooms today while I get working on some more decorations, crafty decorations. And today we're basically going to be upcycling, recycling, repurposing some of the decorations that didn't quite survive last year. This foam or styrofoam pumpkin head that my son loved just a little bit too much last year. He lost his stem and he's got some of his foam bits missing. I've also got this head that the eyes light up, or used to light up, but it got wet and it doesn't work anymore. So I think I'm gonna find a way to make these one. I also have this empty sparkling lemon bottle, some old faux flowers from my daughter's room that she didn't quite like anymore, and some black spray paint. Lastly, I gave Mr. Pumpkinhead a good coat of black spray paint, but I did this outside under the roof-ish thing, and he got splattered, so there are some white spots. So I am just going to give him a coat of PVA glue with this sparkly black glitter that I've got, and hopefully that'll make him stand out a bit more and cover up those little white dots. Initially, I thought if I mixed the glitter in with the PVA that it would cover, but I couldn't really see it, so I just covered him with PVA glue and then sprinkled over the glitter. Then popped him aside to dry, and I'm going to work on the second part of the decoration. Now, we are going to have our usual graveyard outside in the front garden, but I also wanted one for the food table or snacks table for our little Halloween party. Every year after Halloween, the shops have clearance of all the Halloween decorations they didn't sell, and I got this one at the Works, reduced from £5 down to £1. I've also got my black and white powder paints, although it would have been quicker just to use the spray paint and give it a quick coat of spray paint. That does have a glossy effect, and I did want it more matte. So I didn't want it pitch black, so I just mixed a little bit of white in with the black until I got a dark grey, but not completely black. And gave here a base coat of that dark grey, remembering to get the sides and the back as well. And then to give it some texture, I added a lot more of the white to make a lighter grey color, and dry brushed, so dip your brush in and then dab it off on some tissue paper, and then just very lightly over the sides gave it a textured effect, just rubbing my brush really slightly from the edges into the middle. Now, I did this while the black was still relatively damp. It hadn't dried completely yet, as I find this does help the colors blend in better together. And then I also decided to go in with just the whites on the same paintbrush though, so it wasn't quite completely white, and give it a few more streaks down the middle to add a more textured effect. I just kept going slightly lighter with the color over and over again until I was pleased with the effect. I didn't want it to be too dark a grey. I did want it to have some sparkle to it and stand out, as it will be quite dark, and if it was completely black, no one would be able to see it. So I popped him aside to dry for a second and decided I would go check if our pumpkin head had dried yet. Oh, he was completely dry, but in this process I realized that the light that used to light up inside of him was in the top bit, the stem bit, so that doesn't work anymore. So I still wanted him to light up. I will probably be using one of the little battery operated tea lights, but I had the orange lights to hand for now, so I popped them in to see the effect. I also removed the stake off the skull's head and just popped him in on top. I probably will hot glue him. Now his eyes used to light up whenever anyone came past, but I said the battery area seems a bit rusted from where he got wet. I've tried to replace the batteries and he just doesn't want to work properly. But I really like this effect. I probably might actually stick with the orange lights in there. So back onto the tombstone, and I did want it to sparkle a bit, so I went in and dry brushed some of my silver craft paint over it to give it some sparkle. Again, just with the same kind of technique that I used for the grey, going from the sides into the center, and also decided to give all of the edges that silver coat as well to make them more defined and make them pop a little more. I wanted the writing on the tombstone to have an old look to it, and I'm not very good at freehanding it, so I had this stencil. However, even the thinnest pencil that I had originally intended to use my silver paint pen, but nothing would actually fit into all of the little curves and cracks properly. So instead I got my smallest paintbrush and decided to do it that way, and then quickly realized that in between each letter I would have to wait for the paint to dry because the stencil would cover over the lettering as I went and it would smudge the lettering. So this process was going to take a long time. So in between, I decided I'll go make the kids something to munch and do the letters that I can as they go, as they dry rather. And I did this process, as I said, with the thinnest paintbrush I could find to get into all of those cracks and some more of that silver paint. As I said, I do want it to sparkle, and my silver paint pen is just too fat to fit inside the holes. Kids fed and some quick tidying done, making sure they're not doing too much carnage. And I did want flowers at the base of the grave, so that bottle from the beginning, I'd spray painted that as well as the roses, and it had this really nice S emblem embossment, or what's actually raised. I think embossing is when it goes into it rather than out of it. I don't know. So I wanted that to pop a bit more, go with the silver and black theme. So I just went over the S with that silver paint pen. I was desperate to use that. I've just got them off Amazon. It was a black one, a white one, a silver one, and a gold one. And as I said, I was desperate to use them. So I just went over that S. The black was a little bit too black for me, so I wanted to lighten it up. So again, with that silver paint and a piece of cloth, I guess it is. It's one of the gauze ones that I used for making Audrey 2. Just dabbed a tiny little bit on there and just wiped it around in areas. I didn't want to make it completely silver because then the S wouldn't pop as much as it does. So I just gave that a dab around, a little bit too much at the top there, just to give it a little bit of shine. And this is going to be the vase for my black roses that I also spray painted, and this will go at the base of my tombstone. Now, it took me ages to decide what I was actually going to write on the tombstone, but in the end, the one I like the most, as it's going to be going on the snacks table, is "Here Lies Myra Maines." Dead but not forgotten. Won't insult you guys by showing you, but I did go over the lettering with a black Sharpie just to make it pop a bit more. Reason I won't show you guys is I will never claim to be a pro at this, as well, I've never quite got the lettering. So this is it so far, and my little guy loves the effect. I did also decide to pop the magic ball, or witch's glow ball that we made in the previous video at the base of that too. I thought that the flashing lights actually shined off the silver of, well, everything else really well and made it pop lovely. I'm quite happy with how this project turned out. As I usually do, I'll probably end up making some extra touches to it. I had thought about popping some skull embossment at the top above the "Here Lies" section. I'm sure if I do, you guys will see that in our final video, which will show you all our decorations put together for Halloween. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, maybe got some inspiration for your own Halloween decorations. If you did enjoy it, please support us by hitting like and subscribe down below, and we'll have new videos coming out very shortly, as we have many more decorations we're working on before the big day. Bye and happy haunting!